ओ तब कथामृतम तप्त जीवनम कविभिडीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति भुरिदा जनाः। Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with his intimate devotees, which took place in the house of Girish Chandra Ghosh on 15 February 1885, when Sri Ramakrishna came there on his way to witness a drama, Vishaketu, in Kolkata. Let us recapitulate the salient points discussed in our last classes. Sri Ramakrishna has said the realization of God is not only possible but should be pursued by both sannyasins and householders. It is no more a discipline for all renouncing monks. In this age, God has incarnated to make the doors of realization wide open for all. He has made it easy for everyone to realize God. And this time he has himself demonstrated in his singular life an ideal householder and an ideal sannyasin, two in one, nor one after another. That is the usual tradition, that after we complete our Grihastha ashram, we enter into Banaprastha and finally to sannyas. That was the system of the old. For the modern age, Sri Ramakrishna has this shortcut approach. He used to himself say that in olden days, for diseases, for temperature, for remission of temperature, fever, that Ayurvedic drugs is to be prescribed, pachan, which would take little time but will cure the disease. But nowadays, the allopathic system has come and we are prescribing fever mixture so that there is an instant remission of the disease. Now this is because he says in Kali Yuga the human beings are short-lived. In olden days they used to live for hundreds of years. So they had a long lease of life which they could utilize for realization of God. But here in Kali Yuga, the life is short-lived. Whatever you have to do, you have to do in a short time. So then the method should be also shortcut. So Sri Ramakrishna has shown this shortcut. First of all, he has earmarked the goal for everyone, encouraging everyone, wherever he or she is, to realize God in this very life. That is to be clearly understood. God is not a matter for discussion or debate. God is a matter for realization. Swami Vivekananda says religion is realization. Religion is being and becoming. It should be a reality. It should be that made a reality in our life. And the method he is giving is extremely simple. There is no rejection. It has to be understood. There is no rejection. He is not advising the householders to give up their hearth and home and spend all their time for spiritual pursuits. He is telling to Atul, who was a pleader in Calcutta High Court, his spiritual practice which is being prescribed by Sri Ramakrishna is, you continue to do whatever you are doing and add this spiritual practice also in your life. Tum evo karo, o karo. He has not said you give up that job in High Court. You continue to do your job, whatever you are doing, and please add the longing for God and meditation, etc. in your life. It's an augmentation to your normal duties. So then someone argued that is it possible for non-Brahmins, because there is a caste system in our country, the higher caste people, they enjoy some privilege. So Sri Ramakrishna had made that easy also. He says that it is possible for everyone, and gives a counter example that not only it is possible, but those who are belonging to the so-called lower caste, they are sometimes exhibiting exalted life. They are becoming the leaders of the society. He gives examples that in this Kali Yuga, these so-called lower caste people, they have excelled and they have become forerunners for God realization. And he gives example that Shabari, a woman of the hunter community, Shabari, Shabari Upakhyan we have discussed at length from Adhyatma Ramayana, that how being a very ugly looking woman and illiterate, belonging to a hunter family, those who kill animals for their profession, and belonging to that community, she was so successful in her spiritual life that God had to incarnate as a human being and walk down to her hut to give darshan. She didn't go to see God. God had to come to enter into her premises and bless her. That is what Shabari demonstrates. Being such a low caste person, become the highest example of spirituality. Second example Sri Ramakrishna gives, Ravidas, and third is Gohak Chandal. So we have been discussing this Ravidas. Now that also we have been discussing for the last several weeks. Now you all know that we who are in Uttar Pradesh, we are really blessed because we have got here the host of saints and seers and incarnations of God. We have to always remember that how being in UP, we are blessed. Sometimes I feel that is a special area in the entire world, land of spirituality. The Rama was born in Ajodhya, Krishna was born in Mathura, then Buddha was born in the outskirts of UP. Now it is Sravasti and Kapilavastu, which belongs to Nepal now. But in those days in this area, now also in UP, Sravasti and that area you will find a very rich prevalence of the Buddhist philosophy. And then there are a host of other saints like Tulasi Das, Kabir Das. So these are the sons, and also Ravi Das. Now Ravi Das, whose life and teachings we have been discussing, was born near Banaras and born of this family, a lower caste, those were cobblers, chamar. Now our peculiar caste superstition has entered into our brain. As soon as we hear the word chamar, we feel that some person has come who is untouchable. We must get away from this person because he is impure. Now Ravidas has proved it counterfeit. Belonging to the family of Chamar, not only he realized God, but he continued his profession to remain as Chamar till the last day of his life. At the same time, he showed the way of God to many people belonging to all the castes of the society. Even Brahmins, Kshatriyas, everybody used to flock around him because he has realized God. And he also exhibited the extraordinary occult powers, by seeing which people got amazed that how such a person can be host of so much of highest spiritual wealth. So that counter example Sri Ramakrishna mentions, that God realization is possible for all castes of people, and high and low, rich and poor, literate, illiterate, men, women. Now we have been discussing the philosophy of Ravidas, and we said that it is based on 10 points. इनके जो दर्शन है 10 बिंदुओं पर आधारित है. इसमें से 4 बिंदु हम लोग चर्चा कर चुके हैं. We already covered 4 points. Today we will start the 5th point. Let us recapitulate that what are the 4 points, and we will find surprisingly that he is talking about the same philosophy as Sri Ramakrishna prescribed. He was born before Sri Ramakrishna, and he is talking about the same thing what Sri Ramakrishna said later. The first 4 points which we already discussed are: number 1, that the goal of human life is to realize God. That Sri Ramakrishna was never tired in telling the devotees that Ishwar darshan ही मनुष्य जीवन का उद्देश्य है. That was his central message. The goal of life is to see God and also to love God. Now Ravidas adds that we have to remember that life is short and we are in the midst of a labyrinth. These 2 things we must remember. Though the goal of life is to realize God, we must remember the time at hand is very limited. We don't have a long time. Whatever we have to do quick. Number 1, and second, we have a huge network of distraction which is called Maya around us, which is standing on the way. 2 things are standing on the way. 1, the time limitation. Another is adverse environment, parivesh. The environment is continuously drawing us away from God. We are in a negative magnetic field. We are trying to go near God, but the environment is drawing us away from God. It's a very peculiar system. In view of that, we have to be very, very careful and achieve and reach the goal, achieve the target. We must remember this. This has been told in the Upanishads. Paranchi khani bhatinat sambhu tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman. So he is told in the Upanishad that it is the design of God. It's no one else. God has himself designed this world in such a way that we go away from God. God is seated within the heart of everyone. It's a very peculiar system here. We are searching God and God is seated within. It's not dead God. जीता जगता भगवान हमारे सबके भीतर में विराजमान है. Why are you not able to see him? Because God has made this world in such a attractive splendor that we are always projecting our mind away, outside. No one is looking at inside. God is inside. But we are all projecting the attractive world, and our attention is diverted. Attention should be made within. Attention is diverted outside. Why? By the attraction of these sensual pleasures and within the sense organs. He has given some sense organs. Chakshu, Karna, Nasika, Jiva, Tak. These are all sense organs. It's Gyanendriyani. And we have got organs of work. Vak, Pani, Paya, Pad, Upastu. And the mind. We have got 11 instruments. Ekadash Indriyani. All these 11 instruments are constantly being projected outside. So we are not able to see God within. That is the dilemma. So in this scenario, we have to remember the goal of life is to realize God. That is the first point Ravidas says. This is the point. Second point is he says that God not only remains within our heart, Ghad Ghad Basi Paramatma. It is also possible to worship God by worshipping people around us, because there also God is deciding. Let us not make that wrong idea that God is deciding within me only. God is deciding within me and also within the heart of everyone. So if we serve others in the form of God, that also will do. That's the second point Ravidas says. This was formally and more systematic way evaluated by Sri Ramakrishna as Shiva Gyane Jiva Seva. The genesis is here, Ravidas. Ghat Ghat Basi Paramatma. First point was Manav Jivan ka Uddesh Ishwar Lav. दूसरा घट घट वासी परमात्मा. Third is जीवित गुरु की आवश्यकता. We cannot realize God on our own. We must take the help of a teacher, a living teacher. Sometimes we feel that God is our teacher, or we'll learn from scriptures or books or cassette. That is not possible. Third point is we must be in touch of a living human being in order to reach God. There is no other way. एक दिया से ही दिया जलता है. This is a practical point. If you have a source of lamp, then the touch of the lamp is necessary to light your candle. You cannot light your candle by seeing internet or hearing videos or cassettes. You can see the flame, but that doesn't have a burning capacity. For burning your lamp, you must be in touch, physical touch with another lamp. दिया से ही दिया जलता है। तो परमात्मा को पाने के लिए एक गुरु का आवश्यकता है। Now he has discussed at length, which he also recounted, that we need not break our head from pillar to post, who will be our guru. When we are interested to reach God, then God sends his medium. As we are searching, we are longing for God, God is also longing for us. It's a two-way drive. So as soon as we are aspiring to reach God, God will send someone, he will knock at our door and connect us with God. We need not worry, but we must understand the necessity that is to be understood. Sometimes, if we do not understand the necessity, we may not be able to take the advantage. This we have seen in the life of Suresh Chandra Datta, Sri Ramakrishna's disciple. His life has been discussed in our internet also recently. Suresh Chandra Datta was an exalted householder devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, who came with Sri Ramakrishna, with Nag Mahashaya, another great devotee. Nag Mahashaya believed in Sakar. Suresh Chandra Datta, being a member of Brahma Samaj, he did not believe in Sakar. He said that Mantra Diksha is not necessary. So when Durga Charan Nag, see the importance. Durga Charan Nag, he requested Sri Ramakrishna to convince Suresh Chandra Datta the importance of Mantra Diksha. Sri Ramakrishna, becoming God incarnate, he tried to convince Suresh Chandra Datta that Mantra Diksha is necessary for our spiritual illumination, but Suresh Chandra Datta denied. He said it is not necessary. God is without form. So in order to go to formless God, why should I take the help of a media with form? It is not necessary. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, you will understand in due course, and then your Mantra Diksha will be done. After some time, when Suresh Chandra Datta becomes mature, then he felt the need of a human guru. So he was outside Calcutta, he was in Quetta for his work. He came to Calcutta. By the time Sri Ramakrishna was shifted to Kashipur, and he had a cancer in his throat, and the devotee said, now initiation is stopped. Now Suresh Chandra Datta was very much upset. When Sri Ramakrishna himself wanted to give initiation, he denied. Now when he is eager, then Sri Ramakrishna stopped initiation, and after some time Sri Ramakrishna passed away. So Suresh Chandra Datta was in great turmoil that what have I done? My life is waste. So he was weeping and wailing and rolling in the bank of the Ganges, and suddenly one day he saw Sri Ramakrishna coming up from the Ganges water and initiating. He received the mantra from Sri Ramakrishna himself. Now this is the point. When we realize the importance of spiritual initiation, then God knocks at your door and provides the initiation. This is the catch. We need not be upset. Guru kahan se? We have to realize Bina Guru Gyan kahan se paun. That is true. But Guru kahan se paun, we need not worry, because we cannot find him. God will provide a Guru. Every one of us who have been initiated will acknowledge, endorse that they have been received the grace of Guru without their effort. Guru has come on their own in the life and blessed, sent by God. So then, fourth point, Ravidas said, Sat Sangha Mahatva, the importance of holy company. Now, when we keep, how do you begin our spiritual journey? Where to start? Start is holy company. As I said, that holy company is a great medium by which we reach God. The Santo, Bhakt, they are now, so their company makes our life oriented towards God. That is the beginning of the journey. Now, who is a holy person? There's a question. Is a person who's wearing a gerua cloth is a holy man, or having some mark on the forehead, or who has renounced the world, or is a mendicant? Who is a holy man here, or woman? Now, this has been said in the Vaishnava scriptures that who is a Vaishnava? How do you know? What is the test? Jahare helile ride fure Krishna naam tahare janiyo tumi Vaishnava pradhan. Look, a wonderful test is given. The person by seeing whom automatically you remember God. You don't have to try. By seeing whom automatically the name of God sprouts from your heart, know for certain that this is the holy man. He need not speak. His very appearance will generate spirituality in you spontaneously. How do you know that one equipment is an air conditioner? You go near the air conditioner, you feel the cool. You don't have to certify. Your whole system will certify that this is a cooling machine. I'm getting coolness. So by seeing whom, that's called holy company. Company is necessary. Physical company is necessary. Physical company does not need that you follow him. The nearness, the proximity, naikatya. If you go near a holy person, then you get the warmth of spiritual fervor from him or her. And if you are not able to find such person, the holy books will compensate as holy company. When you read holy books, Bhagavad Gita, Sri Ramakrishna Vachanamrit, Maa Ki Baatein, Ramcharitmanas, Bible, Quran, etc., whatever the reading of the scriptures can be considered as holy company. Now, this is a very valid and important method to start our spiritual life. Now, fifth point comes here. Most effective methods for God's realization is Nama Bhakti. That's what Ravidas says. Fifth point is the Nam Bhakti, which we'll discuss now. Now, in our scriptures, always we have found that our saints and seers have given a special emphasis on this point. Now, it has been said that God is, though present within us, but He is in a subtle way. He is not present in a visible way. God is not visible with us. He is present in an invisible way. Now, His sarup, His roop, His form is invisible. Now, there is a one-to-one relation between name and form. Naam and roop abhed hai. Whenever we remember a person, his form, and the person has a name, when we remember the name, the form comes. When the form comes, we remember the name. Whenever you see a person, his name is Rama, immediately the form of Rama comes between us. So now the philosophy is that Nam and Nami are Aveda. There is a wonderful philosophy. Name and form are inseparable. Whenever there is a name, the form is connected. When form is there, name is connected. Now suppose I know a person whose name is Rama. He is not here. He is the next door. When he shouts the name of Rama, then immediately his person responds from the other door. If he hears, yes, I am here, what do you want? So the name and form are interrelated. This philosophy has been accepted that though God is invisible, but his name is within us. So if you hold on to the name and repeat the name, then God appears. नाम पुकारने से नामी प्रकट हो जाता है. This is the philosophy. They have tried to make it illustrated with a thread. This is one thread. On one end of the thread, God is tied up. Another end of the thread, his name is there. God is tied, the other end is beyond our reach. But the end of the thread, which his name, is within my control. So if you hold on to the name and gradually proceed, you holding the thread, ultimately we will reach the other end where God is there. This is the system. The नाम पकड़ते हुए अगर हम आगे बढ़े तो नाम ही प्रकट होगा ही. This is the philosophy. That's why it's called, the name is like a huge boat. We climb on it, it will steer us clear with all the difficulties in the world and ultimately make us united with God. This is the whole story about it, Nam and Nami. Now, the Chaitanya Dev, he was very, very particular of this method. He said in this Kali Yuga, this is the most effective method to realize God. उन्होंने कहा, हरे नामी व नामी व नामी व केवलम कलो गति नास्ति अन्यथा अन्यथा अन्यथा. अर्थात to repeat the name of Hari is the only method in this Kali Yuga where no other method is so simple and applicable. That's what Chaitanya Dev said 500 years ago. Now this Ravidas is the echo of what he said, that नाम सुमिरन होना चाहिए, नाम करना चाहिए. The importance of the repetition of God's name. Now he says, Ravidas, that God's name is so pure that whenever we repeat the name, it nullifies all the impurities of the mind. It is like a crystal. It is called the Nirmali. When you throw a piece of this in the water, alum, when you throw a piece of alum, फटकिरी, पानी में अगर डाल देने से क्या होगा, पानी में जितना कीचड़ है सब नीचे गिर जाएगा. We settle down. So our mind is full of impurities. When you attach the name of God, then by its touch gradually the impurities get separated and drop away, and then the total water becomes clean. So when we repeat a God's name, even without any devotion, simple repeat, mechanically, that will quieten the mind. It's very peculiar. This philosophy and finding they have found that Naam is so powerful that it settles down all the gross of the mind. How does it do? Because God's mind is having a tremendous, the redeeming power, is full of sattva gun. So when God is thought in the heart, then naturally He takes care and removes all the impurities by His mere presence of Nama. Nama is pure. The purity of name removes all the impurities of the mind, and mind becomes free and pure in order to realize God then and there. This is the philosophy. This is the Namata. He said this way we can steer clear in this world. Now here he gives one important point, that Naam ki sarvochchata, the repetition of God's name is the highest sadhan possible, because it is simplest, anybody can do it. You do not require any money, do not require any elaborate infrastructure. So you sit in a corner and repeat God's name. Now, the name also is said that here now it is time has come that in this merely the name has to be uttered with devotion. If one does not have a devotion, then what is to be done? Thus comes the second point. First of all, he says that repetition of God's name is the highest spiritual practice. Second point, he says that Naam ka sumiran, how to repeat God's name, that also he says. First of all, he says that you must understand that how important is the name of God. Actually, he says here that God knows that God is not present here. He has made a channel by which people may reach Him. It is provided by God. So God is present within us in His name. Whomsoever repeats God's name will reach the goal. So God has made Himself available in this age through His name. That is the secret. God's name is so powerful, so elevating, that automatically all our pursuits of life becomes redundant. So this is important, and how to repeat God's name, here he says, the Naam ka sumiran. Now this, any name repetition can be started to begin the process. Pale, any name of God which is known to us, conducive to us, let us repeat. When we repeat God's name, then our mind becomes, any God's name, mind becomes gradually purified. And then God sends us a guru who gives us a recharged official name of God. It is received from the Guru. Guru is sent by God. So the name received from a Samarth Guru is to be repeated. This is the method. How to repeat, how many times to repeat, the Guru will instruct. Let us follow the advice of Guru. Till then, any name of God will do. So repetition of God's name makes our mind oriented towards God. This is the first point, that Naam ka sumiran hona chahiye. Now, once we receive a mantra from a Guru, now how long should he repeat God's name? Question. How many times? Now the method has been said that you continue your work, whatever you are doing, continuously, doesn't matter. Unless sometimes your attention is totally required, then you engage in work. That apart, whenever you are free, repeat God's name and do your work. And when there is no work, you repeat God's name and name only. So this Naam Sumiran has to be integrated in our life, and then whatever we are doing, that can be done where a portion of the mind be engaged in the repetition of God. Now, how that is possible? When you are working, our mind is engaged in the work. How can we put a portion of the mind for God repetition? How is it possible? Sri Ramakrishna says, suppose we have a toothache. आपका दांत में कुछ दर्द हो रहा है. Now, don't you do any work? You are doing all the works throughout the day and night. But nevertheless, a portion of your mind is fixed in the root of the teeth. You are feeling the pain also at the same time. You are doing your work and feeling the pain of those who have felt, they know how deep it is. So, जब दांत का बीमारी होता है, जैसे दांत का जो दर्द होता है, वो सहते हुए हम लोग कर्म करते हैं, तो ऐसे ही भगवान का नाम लेते हुए, भगवान का सुमिरन करते हुए अपना कर्म करो. कर्म भी सुष्ट होगा एवं हमारे मन भी शांत हो जाएगा. विल कंटिन्यू फर्दर. So this Nam Mahatma is the most important thing. We must understand the repetition of God's name with rhythm, and when there is some more item has to be added to make the Nam Mahatma fixed. And the third point is that Nam being Jeev ke dasha. If a person has not been received initiation, has not been initiated to repeat the name of God, a particular name, then whatever he do in life, that will be in vain. Jivan birth ho jayega. So now we must be taking up with the right earnestness that our spiritual life must continually grow with the repetition of God's name as much as possible. Continue this topic further in our next Sunday class. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhita vigraham vai Ishamataram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasanamama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Next Sunday will be Shankar Panchami, but we'll have the class here as usual in the morning, 10 o'clock. Though we'll have Akshaya Tritiya on the 2 days before on Friday, that is on 10th. And other routine will be communicated to you over internet. Let's close the talk with a bhajan in chorus, taking God's name in chorus. Please join with me. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om.